Hello guys and welcome to this video. My name is Sarah if you don't know me already, and I am a flower farmer in East Yorkshire in the UK. And in the interests of sharing the highs and lows of my flower farming journey, I thought I would share with you a mistake that I've made this year, and it's causing me some grief. So hopefully I'm going to come up with a resolution to my problem today, and we can carry on growing the flowers for the season ahead. So this is my flower field. I have two flower fields. This one is about 360 metres squared, and it's about just over halfway planted up at the moment. And there's lots of things in there like larkspur, corncockle, cosmos, dorcas, dill, sunflowers, nigella, limonium, helichrysum, lots of things like that planted out. And then I've got a few things left to plant out as well to fill up the field. I'm just working full speed at the moment to try and get everything planted out, so hopefully in the next couple of weeks it will be full, and then I need to put some plant support netting up before it gets too late. So the problem that I'm having is that I decided to put some straw mulch on one of my beds as a test, and it has encouraged the slugs. I've never really had a slug problem before, which is a bit of a shame, because obviously I've planted out this full row of flowers along here and the slugs have taken a lot of them. And luckily I planted some mallow in here. They've taken a bit of the mallow, but luckily I have a backup tray of mallow, about 100 plants just in my hardening off area, so I should be able to fill in some gaps, but I think I'm going to have to sow some fresh trays of corncockle. They've specifically gone for quite a lot of the corncockle and some bupleurum as well. So yeah, basically the alpaca shed, which is just behind me there, when I was mucking that out in the winter, I was just chucking it over the fence and I created a pile of alpaca poo, which alpaca poo and straw, mainly straw. And then I was like, well, I might as well use the straw as a mulch. It'll be good for the flower beds, and so will the alpaca poo. And at the time I thought it was a good idea, but now I have a serious slug problem and it seems to be just affecting the straw mulch bed so far. I'm not sure if it's because the slugs aren't so interested in the other things that I've planted out, or whether it's just going to take time for the slugs to get across to the other beds that don't have the straw mulch on. But obviously the straw mulch is creating a nice environment for the slugs. So I won't be putting the straw down again like that with the alpaca poo in it. I think I'm going to have to compost that in the future instead of using it as a mulch. And alpaca poo is actually so well processed by the alpaca that you can use it straight on the flower beds, and it's good to go straight away. You don't have to compost it for any amount of time before you add it to the beds. So I've asked on a page that I'm a member of, which I took part in an advanced flower farming course a couple of years ago, and I asked for some advice on organic slug pellets, and I've been recommended slugger pellets. So I'm just waiting for somebody to come and collect some flowers, but I'm going to have a go at seeing if my local garden centre has some slugger pellets, and I'll try putting some of those on the flower beds. I also have noticed that my dahlias that were overwintered in my front flower field have started sprouting, and the slugs or the snails have started eating those as well. So I also need to treat the dahlias around the front, and then I might just precautionarily treat the rest of the beds that are planted out anyway, because I am going away on Thursday for 5 days and I don't want to come back to a load of empty flower beds because the slugs have been enjoying themselves in the flower field. So once my customer has been to collect the flowers, I will be heading off to the garden centre to see if I can get some organic slug pellets. So as usual, a trip to the garden centre means that you don't just buy the thing that you actually came for, but you end up buying other stuff. So I bought some more bird food, a couple of bags of seed sowing compost, because I ran out of the stuff that I bought from the wholesalers. And these two little cuties. So I'm back with my slugger pellets, and I'm going to try and distribute them around each plant. I'm just wondering whether there's an efficient way of doing this. I don't think there is. Maybe, I was thinking maybe like you could put it in a watering can or something and just like tip it out onto each plant, but that would probably end up me putting too much on each one. So I think I'll just try it with my hands to begin with and then see how that goes. So the packet recommends to spread the slug pellet evenly throughout the bed rather than like putting it in piles around the plants, but this is the only way that I can do it with the weed membrane being on. So next year when I'm preparing my flower beds, I will probably just sprinkle a bit of this on before I lay the weed membrane back over, and then we've got a even covering over the bed before the weed membrane goes back on. So hopefully this will still work and it will deter the slugs. Let's see. So I've just finished slug pelleting this bed here, which is the worst affected one with the straw mulch, and as a precaution I have also done this bed that I planted out this morning, which is dill, dorcas and cosmos, and I did a little bit over there near the helichrysum as well. So I need to work my way around and get it all done. I've just sprinkled a little bit around the base of each plant, like so, and I need to make sure that I do the dahlias for definite before I run out, and I'm probably going to have to go and buy another box, but hopefully it's going to work, because it's so disheartening when you've spent so long raising all of these plants and then some pesky little slug comes and steals it from you. So let's hope that this is going to be the end of our slug problems. So I managed to get most of the beds covered in slug pellets yesterday, and also yesterday I did most of the dahlia beds as well, all of the dahlia beds. So I'm really hoping that that's going to allow the dahlias to carry on growing, because they started shooting up. If you saw my video from a few weeks ago, I was excited because the dahlias started to pop up, and now the slugs have been at the shoots. So I'm hoping that these slug pellets will kill off the slugs and allow the dahlias to get going, because I was excited that we were maybe going to get some early flowers, but if this is going to set them back, then it's going to be a bit frustrating. So I'll show you these shoots now. So you can see that the slugs have been having a whale of a time with those dahlia shoots. So that's maybe something to consider for the future when I am growing or leaving the dahlias in the ground, is the slug problem, which is going to set them back. And I've noticed that they're even chomping on the weeds and things in here. And like I said, I think at the beginning of the video, I've not really had a problem with slugs and snails before, so I'm not really sure why that's happened. In this field as well, we get a lot of frogs and toads because of the big pond, I think, over there. So hopefully they will help with population control of the slugs and snails, as well as the slug pellets. So I thought whilst I'm here in the field, I could show you a couple of the things that are looking nice in the field at the moment. So I've got these geums. And then there's some penstemons next door to them. They are Mai Tai, I believe, and they're really nice. I bought those from a friend's flower farm who was closing down. And there's some Physocarpus here behind me, and this is Hypericum, and I'm not sure whether I killed it off over the winter or in the spring because it was so dry and cold as well. So we'll have to see how that does. There's not a lot in in that bed behind me. This is more of like this is triangle shaped, and it's more of got perennials in it. So then here's some Alchemilla mollis. It's looking quite nice and healthy. Hopefully we'll get some tall shoots on that this year. We've got some Achillea along here. It's looking a bit patchy over here because it was so wet over winter. So I'll have to get that filled back up again. And here I have some ox-eye daisy. That's looking really lush this year. When I put it in last year, it was not as tall as that. And then we've got a bed of artichokes here. And then we've got some, what's the name of it? It's limonium, but it's the one that you can dry. It's like sea lavender. And then some lupins behind me. They were put in last year. So yeah, it's all looking very nice. And then this bed behind that I'm standing on now is just random shrubs, and I really want to get this mulched again soon because the grass is taking over, and the mulch worked quite well for a year. And then here's some sedums. And I want to propagate those so I've got plenty of them because they're really, really handy to use as fillers in bouquets. So I hope you enjoyed that little tour of this flower field and how everything's getting on, and I hope you found the slug content not too boring, and I'll let you know in a few weeks' time whether it worked or not. So thanks so much for watching, guys, and I'll see you again next time.